All right, welcome back. Brooklyn's newest hospital is now open for business. The Ruth Bader Ginsburg Hospital in Coney Island began admitting patients yesterday, starting with 170 patients from the old Coney Island Hospital.
The new hospital helps to address one of the key factors in the borough president's plans to address inequities across Brooklyn. So joining us right now is Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso to tell us more about the comprehensive plan and how Brooklyn residents can have a say in what gets done. So good morning, Borough President. Good to see you back here on Pix 11.
Good morning. Always happy to be here.
Yes. All right. So before we discuss this comprehensive plan, I do want to ask you about another serious topic that we've been kind of seeing play out in the streets, these protests that have been taking place in Brooklyn and Lower Manhattan over Jordan Neely's death, right? Where do you, as the borough president, stand on this case? Do you believe that there should be charges filed against the individual who choked Daniel Penny, Jordan Neely?
Yeah, I think that at this point, we know what we know through video, and there's a large population of folks here in Brooklyn that would love to see a more thorough investigation, a trial that speaks to justice versus letting, I guess, the general public and Twitter be the judge, jury, and executioner here. So, yes, I think if anyone dies in this city at the hands of another person, that we should be investigating it. So,
well, it's under investigation,
point,
but do you believe there should be an arrest?
I do believe there should be an arrest, 100%. And I also think that these protests are speaking to the fact that for too long we've dehumanized homeless people, people with mental health issues, and under probably any other circumstances. Had this not been a black person with mental health issues, the person that killed that person through a chokehold would have been arrested. In this case, it seems unusual that they weren't arrested. So yes, I do believe that there should have been an arrest.
Okay, Antonio, half a dozen stores in Mill Basin will not open for business this morning after part of the building actually came crashing down. Now, the Department of Building also closed down 2 garages in Brooklyn for safety reasons. Are you working with the department and inspectors to determine if any other structures in the city are unsafe?
Yeah, we've had a conversation with the Department of Buildings. We're very excited about Jimmy Otto being the new commissioner and really starting to tackle this issue in a more meaningful way. For too long, the Department of Buildings has been more of a partner and a friend to developers in these buildings that are falling apart than they have been a force for accountability. And I think that's changing now when you're seeing the public-facing disasters that exist. And the fact that New Yorkers are now hip to the fact that maybe DOB hasn't been doing its job when it comes to really holding these people accountable. So now, again, with this facade situation that happened in Mill Basin, with the garage falling, I think people are finally seeing that maybe these building owners are not being held accountable as they should. So we're working on it. And also Mark Levine has had, the borough president of Manhattan, has had a process by which he is now trying to do speedy inspections of these buildings.
Yeah, because it's one thing to find them, but to make sure that the work is being done to fix what you're being fined for is a whole other ballgame. So to be continued on that front. But I do want to get your take on just affordability. My goodness, the average rent in Brooklyn, $3,200, up from 25% from previous years. Rent-stabilized apartments could also face an increase if the Rent Guidelines Board gets its way. We're waiting for that final vote, right? So you're hosting an event later this month, Borough President, to help tenants really understand their rights. What rights do they have if the Rent Guidelines Board is going to go ahead?
Yeah. Well, a lot of folks don't even know that they live in a rent-stabilized building. That's the first thing. And there are websites and ways that they can make a call to the state and see if their apartments are rent-regulated. Also, they do have rights. A lot of landlords, what they do is take you to court, and you believe that you are, you're in a position where you can't fight and that you're going to be evicted when you have tons of rights. Right now, we do have lawyers that are supposed to assist low-income residents or all residents when it comes to eviction. But because we don't have enough lawyers through budget cuts that are made by this city, we're seeing the people that don't have lawyers getting kicked out of their apartments almost 10 times more than those that do have lawyers. So knowing your rights, knowing that you have power and that you have to be, that you can have representation is extremely important. So we're gonna let people know that. And also, if you live in a rent-stabilized building or you're a new resident, you moved into an apartment, you're paying $3,200 a month in rent. If you research your apartment, you'll be surprised. You might be living in a rent-stabilized apartment and being overcharged. So we just want to make sure people have the information and that they protect themselves.
Okay, before we let you go, we have to talk about the new hospital. What does it mean for this to be in the community for people, and does it fit into your larger comprehensive plan?
Yes, I call the Department of City Planning the Department of City Zoning. There's no planning that happens. They just build apartments and just bring in residents, but they don't add new schools, new hospitals, new infrastructure for the Department of Environmental Protection or streets. And what this does, this new hospital, speaks to the fact that we need to start talking about infrastructure. Since 1982, 1 year before I was born, there have been no public hospitals built in the city of New York. That means for 40 years, no hospitals. We finally have a new one. But in the greatest city in the entire world, in the greatest borough of the greatest city in the entire world, we're going to see a new hospital here in Coney Island, an area that isn't gentrified, an area that's largely poor and high need. To see that happen, to see that investment from the federal government really speaks volumes to what we want to see moving forward with this comprehensive plan, is that we can build, and we have to be smart about it, and we need to build infrastructure for all the people we're taking in.
All right, important work being done all around. Borough President Antonio Reynoso, good to see you as always. We got to get you here on this couch, all right? We got to, you're always in the kids'
I would
room.
love to. Send me an invite.
All right, there you go. All right.